There's a ton of videos all over YouTube about the handy gadgets you can toss in your guitar case, and that's cool if you want to find out about clip-on tuners and whatnot. But today we're going to narrow this down to 5 things that will actively, and in some cases immediately, make you a better guitar player. Hey YouTube, and before we go on, please hit the subscribe button. I know from my stats that over 99% of people watching haven't subscribed to my channel. That means you're missing out on the 2 videos I upload every week featuring all kinds of guitar and musical goodness. Do yourself and me a favor and sign yourself up. Anyway, let's dive right in. At number 1, we have a metronome. This could be an app on your phone. I use Pro Metronome, which is free and has tap tempo. Or you could use a drum machine set to just clicks. It's important to just use clicks, not a drum pattern, because you're practicing playing to a tempo. You're not jamming, which is a different thing. Or you could use one of those old mechanical swing metronomes that sat on top of your granddad's piano. What's important is to have a device that gives you a consistent tempo that you can practice to. The ability to play to a tempo is one of the most important skills every musician needs, not just guitar players. But guitarists are likely to overlook it because a lot of guitar players have quite an informal approach to practicing. I know a lot of you when you practice might just be tapping your foot, or you might not even be counting at all. That's okay some of the time, but if that's all you do, you're missing out on a real fundamental. Whether it's learning how to sit right in the pocket of a tasty groove, or gradually increasing the tempo of a hot lick, a good metronome could become your best friend. And number 2, we have this. I tend to use fast fret, but what you're looking for is any kind of guitar-specific cleaner/lubricant. If you're young and just starting out, you may not have a lot of money to spend on replacing your strings all the time, so you want to make sure that they last. Especially because some people have quite acidic sweat and skin oils that will get onto your strings and frets every time you play and cause them to get dirty and oxidize. That means they'll sound duller and they'll break more often, and time spent changing strings is time not spent playing. You can sort that out by giving your strings a quick clean after every time you play. Just apply it like so, let it sit for a minute, and then rub it off with a cloth. And voila, almost as good as a new set of strings. As a bonus, you'll notice the strings are a little bit slick, which may feel weird at first, but it does help you get around the neck a little bit faster, which in turn makes you want to play more, which means you'll improve faster. Something like this should cost you no more than a pack of strings, and it'll save you the cost of multiple packs of strings, all while making playing more enjoyable. It's a win-win. And number 3, it's a guitar stand. So first of all, when you put your guitar down, you don't want to just lean it somewhere it might fall over or get kicked or sat on. You need something that's going to keep it upright and support it in a way that won't damage the guitar. If you're lucky enough to have a guitar with a nitrocellulose finish, make sure you get a nitro-safe stand, because some types of rubber will literally melt a nitro finish and you really don't want that. Polyurethane finishes are a lot tougher, so you can use basically any guitar stand. So how does a guitar stand improve your playing? Guitar cases are great for transporting your guitar from place to place, no doubt. But if your guitar's in its case while you're at home, I'll bet you're not playing it as often, if at all. When you're done playing, you want to put your guitar in a safe place, but you don't want to lock it away. You want it right there so you can just pick it up and start playing again. Put a guitar stand next to your favorite armchair, and you'll pick a guitar up every time you sit down. You know it makes sense. And number 4, a recording device. I don't mean like studio recording, although you can always use Pro Tools if you have it on a laptop. I mean like the voice recorder on your phone, because you can use it anywhere you're playing and you're always going to have it with you. Every modern phone will have some kind of voice memo thing. It may not sound great, but that's not the point. The important thing is you need to listen back to your playing, because that will tell you things you don't hear while you're playing. Is your playing clean and fluid? Is your timing right? Are you nailing those bends? It might feel like you're killing it when you're tearing through your practice runs, but you really need to listen back to yourself and hear yourself as a listener would. You just might, or more likely you will, notice a couple of things you definitely want to work on. As a bonus, if you come up with any cool ideas, you can record them too. Finally, at number 5, this is a set of earplugs. Now I know a lot of younger guys, and I'm including my younger self, think this isn't cool or feel like they need to feel the full force of the drums and guitars pounding in their head when they practice. But there's really no avoiding this. If you expose yourself to a lot of loud noise over long periods of time, you will give yourself hearing damage, and also potentially tinnitus, or tinnitus as our American friends say it. You absolutely do not want this, and you'll curse yourself later in life if you do it. Unless you're okay with hearing this all the time. No? Then get ear protection. But how does this improve your guitar playing? If you're in a rehearsal space with your band, and you're all cranked up, and you're not wearing ear protection, your ears will stop working properly within seconds. Almost immediately, you're hearing a distorted, hyper-compressed mess as your ears and brain try and make sense of all this noise. So what you think sounds like this in fact sounds like this. Crucially, you can't hear yourself, so you turn your amp up, and the other guys turn their amps up, and then it becomes a loudness war. You can't hear what you're playing, so you play everything really hard, you can't hear any mistakes, you can barely hear if you're in tune. I've seen bands do this for years and never get even slightly better. I've been in bands that did this for years and never got better. Because you can't get better if you can't hear what you're doing. You can get deaf, but not better. It took me a while to get used to playing with earplugs, and no, it doesn't sound great, even with expensive professional ones. At first it'll feel too quiet, it'll sound a bit muffled and lo-fi, and if you sing it'll be weird. But trust me when I say that this is infinitely preferable to hearing loss. And in the long run, actually being able to hear what you're playing, and what the other guys are playing, and what that sounds like all together, will improve your musicianship no end. Not to mention the pleasure you'll get from hearing yourselves playing well. So even if it's a bit awkward to start with, stick with it. So these ones are around 20 quid, which is still comparatively inexpensive for earplugs for musicians, and you can easily spend hundreds on custom molded ones. But if you're on a tight budget, you can easily get a bag of those foam ones that workmen wear for literally pennies a pair. Trust me that this is the best investment you'll ever make in your life as a musician. Thanks for watching. Please let me know if this has been helpful or if you have any items of your own that you think should be on the list. I'll catch you next time.